An Asian-inspired garden draws upon centuries of tradition rooted in the symbolism, spirituality, and aesthetics of Asian cultures. Japanese and Chinese garden designs, along with influences from other Asian countries, have long centered around principles like simplicity, balance, harmony with nature, and attention to seasonal changes. These gardens aim to create a calm, reflective space where all elements coexist in harmony, allowing one to experience a sense of tranquility and balance. Asian gardens often feature natural components such as stones, symbolizing strength and permanence, water representing life, and plants that bloom seasonally, embodying the cycle of life. Achieving this look in your own front yard is accessible and affordable with the right approach and planning. Here, we'll guide you through the process, starting with understanding the essential elements, followed by practical, budget-friendly steps to create your own peaceful garden. Asian-inspired gardens don't rely on grandiose structures or ornate decorations. Instead, they focus on subtly integrating nature. The philosophy of wabi-sabi, which embraces beauty and imperfection, is a central principle in Japanese garden design. This means that you can use simple, rustic elements and even repurposed materials to create an authentic look without an excessive budget. Furthermore, these gardens are meant to evolve with time. For example, a moss-covered stone or weathered bamboo fencing gains beauty as it ages, adding character to the space. Understanding this naturalistic philosophy is vital when crafting your DIY Asian-inspired garden, as it frees you to embrace a simpler, cost-effective approach. So, whether you have a small front yard or a spacious area to work with, this guide will help you bring Asian-inspired elegance and serenity into your space. One of the most critical steps in crafting an Asian-inspired garden is meticulous planning of the layout. Since Asian gardens are rooted in achieving balance and a seamless flow, start by assessing your front yard's unique dimensions, sunlight exposure, and natural surroundings. Sketch a basic plan of the area, noting spaces where you'd like to place flower beds, pathways, and any focal points like water features or rocks. Asian gardens traditionally include the concept of borrowed scenery, which means incorporating views of nearby trees, hills, or buildings into your design. This concept emphasizes harmony with the surrounding landscape, making your garden feel like an extension of nature rather than an isolated space. When planning your layout, remember that Asian-inspired gardens often follow asymmetrical patterns. Rather than creating rows or grids, aim for a more organic arrangement that encourages exploration. Your pathway doesn't have to lead in a straight line. Instead, consider creating gentle curves that guide visitors around corners to new features. By adding subtle curves, you create a sense of discovery, encouraging guests to pause and enjoy each element as they pass. If you have space constraints, maximize impact by focusing on a few key elements rather than overcrowding the garden. Small, strategically placed flower beds, a compact water feature, or a cluster of rocks can make a strong visual statement without overwhelming the viewer. Budget constraints are common in DIY projects, so be creative with inexpensive materials like mulch or river stones for edging and accentuating your layout. Selecting the right plants is crucial in achieving an authentic Asian-inspired look, even on a limited budget. In Asian gardening traditions, plants are not merely decorative but hold symbolic meanings. Evergreen plants, such as bamboo or juniper, signify resilience and longevity, while flowering plants like peonies and camellias represent beauty and renewal. To create a sustainable, low-maintenance garden, focus on plants that are native to your climate, as these will be easier and more affordable to maintain. For instance, bamboo, which comes in many varieties, is drought-tolerant, hardy, and visually synonymous with Asian gardens. It can be used as a privacy screen, a structural element, or even as a symbolic feature, lending authenticity to your garden without requiring extensive care. For affordability, consider sourcing plants from local nurseries, plant swaps, or even growing from seeds. Ground covers, such as creeping thyme or mondo grass, are excellent for filling in spaces around stones or along pathways, creating a lush appearance without costing much. If you have some flexibility in your budget, consider adding a small Japanese maple tree. Its vibrant red foliage in fall and delicate, feathery leaves add a striking visual interest to any space. Layer your plants by height to mimic the layered appearance of natural landscapes, with taller plants like bamboo or small shrubs in the back, mid-height flowering plants in the middle, and ground covers or moss at the front. This multi-layered approach will create depth, drawing the eye through the garden in a way that feels immersive and complete. Flower beds in an Asian-inspired garden often differ from the Western concept of highly manicured beds filled with vibrant colors. Instead, these beds embrace subtle, natural beauty with a touch of seasonal interest, creating an atmosphere of understated elegance. Choose plants with harmonious color palettes, such as soft greens, whites, and occasional pops of pink or purple from flowering shrubs like azaleas or camellias. To start, decide on the shape of your flower beds. Curved edges mimic natural landscapes better than rigid, straight lines, so consider circular or crescent-shaped beds that flow with the overall layout of the garden. One of the key aspects of Asian flower beds is the careful layering of plants. Instead of filling a bed with a single type of plant, mix textures and heights to create a diverse ecosystem. For example, you might plant ornamental grasses along the back of a bed for movement and texture, with low-growing shrubs like dwarf bamboo or azaleas in the middle. Foreground cover. Moss is an inexpensive option that also aligns with the aesthetic. Alternatively, creeping thyme or moss phlox adds subtle colors and blooms seasonally, maintaining interest without overwhelming the simplicity of the space. For an added touch, consider edging your flower beds with small stones, pebbles, or bamboo stakes. These materials are affordable, natural, and help delineate each bed, enhancing the orderly yet organic feel of an Asian garden. In Asian-inspired gardens, rocks are more than decorative elements. They carry symbolic meanings and serve as foundational components. Rocks are often used to represent mountains, strength, or stability, adding a timeless, grounded element to your garden. To stay within a budget, look for stones that can be sourced locally. River rocks, granite boulders, or slate pieces are ideal for creating focal points or delineating paths and flower beds. In this section, we explore the ways to integrate rocks effectively into your design, whether as standalone pieces, clusters, or arranged to guide the viewer's eye through the garden. When placing stones, focus on creating an asymmetrical, natural look that mimics landscapes found in nature. In Japanese rock gardens, for example, stones are carefully selected for their size, shape, and texture to evoke a sense of natural wonder. Avoid placing rocks in neat rows or patterns. Instead, try clustering rocks of different sizes in small groups, with larger rocks acting as focal points surrounded by smaller stones. You can also create a dry stream bed using smooth river rocks, which adds visual flow and serves as an aesthetic substitute for water. This arrangement is both budget-friendly and effective in adding dimension to your front yard. Surround these rocks with gravel or sand for a minimalist look, which also minimizes maintenance and allows the rocks to stand out as artistic features. Pathways in an Asian-inspired garden are not only functional, but also symbolic, representing life's journey and inviting a mindful exploration of the space. Instead of traditional cement or concrete paths, which can feel rigid and industrial, aim for more natural materials like gravel, stepping stones, or decomposed granite. These materials are relatively affordable and maintain an organic appearance, blending seamlessly with the rest of the garden. Paths in an Asian-inspired garden often meander, encouraging visitors to slow down, observe their surroundings, and fully experience each section of the garden. When designing your pathway, consider creating curves that lead around plant beds or stone arrangements. This indirect route allows each element to reveal itself gradually, adding a sense of mystery and discovery to the garden. For a budget-friendly approach, lay down a simple path with gravel bordered by larger stones. This look is both natural and low-cost, and it helps control weed growth while providing a clear walking path. If you have room in your budget, add stepping stones made from slate or flagstone for a classic touch. In Japanese gardens, stepping stones are often used to guide visitors to specific areas, inviting them to interact with the garden thoughtfully. To enhance this effect, place the stones at intervals that naturally slow a person's pace, subtly promoting mindfulness. Additionally, consider adding a simple bamboo or wood edging along the pathway to create structure. Even small changes like adding edging or varying the sizes of stones can make a big impact, giving your pathway an authentic Asian aesthetic without breaking the bank. The final step in creating your Asian-inspired front yard garden is to balance simplicity with intricate details that add character without overwhelming the design. Consider adding subtle decorative elements, like a few ceramic pots, a small sculpture, or even a miniature bonsai tree, which echoes the principles of patience and attention to detail in Japanese culture. When adding these finishing touches, avoid overcrowding. In Asian garden philosophy, less is often more, allowing each element to have its own space and purpose. Additionally, keep seasonal upkeep in mind, as Asian gardens often reflect the changing seasons. In spring, you might introduce flowering branches, while autumn could bring in a few vibrant chrysanthemums or ornamental grasses. This attention to seasonal details not only enhances the garden's beauty, but also reflects the cyclical nature of life, a central theme in many Asian traditions. The garden should feel complete, yet open to change, allowing each season to subtly transform its appearance. Finally, stepping back to view your garden as a whole, appreciate the quiet simplicity and harmony that it brings to your front yard. With thoughtful planning, affordable materials, and attention to detail, you've created a tranquil, Asian-inspired sanctuary that brings peace and beauty to both you and your neighborhood. Transforming your front yard into an Asian-inspired garden doesn't have to be costly or complex. By carefully selecting plants that evoke the natural elegance of East Asia, such as Japanese maples, bamboo, and vibrant flowers, you create an organic, calming atmosphere that draws you in and encourages relaxation. Incorporating elements like meandering pathways, affordable water features, and subtle decorations imbues your garden with layers of symbolism and depth, reflecting the timeless traditions of Asian landscape design. Each addition, from strategically placed stones to soothing water basins, adds to the experience, creating a space that invites you and your visitors to slow down and appreciate life's quieter moments. Remember, the beauty of an Asian-inspired garden lies not in abundance, but in balance, where every element has its place and purpose. This minimalist approach keeps the garden low maintenance and accessible, allowing you to enjoy the benefits without the need for constant upkeep. As the seasons change, so will the character of your garden, embodying the dynamic yet serene spirit found in traditional Asian landscapes. Whether you're seeking a personal retreat, a beautiful addition to your neighborhood, or simply an inspiring new hobby, your DIY Asian-inspired garden will become a cherished space that connects you with nature's beauty, simplicity, and tranquility.